Rest in piss. Huh? Oh hey, what are you doing here? Me? I'm just mourning the loss of something important. Don't worry about it. Hold on. There's something in my eye. Aw, man. Welcome to a series where I play NFT games so you don't have to. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is the worst NFT game ? Today, we're going to be diving headfirst into the Whoniverse, because for some reason, they released a new game with NFTs. And that game is... Hey, we meet again. Sorry to keep doing this, but we hit 1,000 plus subscribers. I cannot believe we've more than doubled since my last video. It's pretty unreal. This is a major milestone since this allows me to apply for a monetization, is what I would say, but YouTube is making it as difficult as possible by rejecting me at every turn. Oh well, that's not any of you guys' issue. Regardless though, thank you. This quite literally would not be possible without all of you, so for all the hundreds and thousands of videos that get uploaded onto YouTube every second, thank you all so much for choosing to watch my videos. Willingly, I hope. If you're being forced to, sorry about that. Anyways, on to the video. Doctor Who Worlds Apart. I've never actually seen the show, so apologies for not understanding the lore. All I know is Weeping Angel, something about a gas mask child, and David Tennant. Doctor Who Worlds Apart is a trading card game based off of the ongoing long-running British sci-fi Doctor Who, which first released in 1963 and currently has 26 seasons. Worlds Apart is also officially licensed by the British Broadcasting Corporation, which unfortunately means that this NFT game is part of the Whoniverse canon. Worlds Apart promises to be fast and fun. You can collect, build, and play with your favorite characters. I'm sure you're all aware by now, but TCGs are the go-to genre for NFT projects. Being able to artificially limit the actual playing cards based on rarity and power, it'll drive people who want to win to make insane purchases to try and get these cards. Similar to the real world, except it's digital and somehow have even more artificial scarcity, which is impressive. Now the first thing that stands out to me are the characters in these screenshots. They look weird. Now I'm not an expert on being able to identify AI art, so I'm probably wrong, but the shading of these characters just look really off to me. Like how his hair is so incredibly smooth and the side of it just kind of gets all smeared out. I don't know, it's weird. The main reason why I'm not 100% sure is because in early 2024, the BBC attempted to use generative AI for promoting Doctor Who in the form of emails, which got significant backlash, and they stated they would stop using AI. Now I know art and emails are a bit different, but it would be weird if they were okay with using AI art in their licensed video game. With all that said, I'm gonna go with the assumption that it's made by real artists. If anyone has any explanations, like if this is a signature look of any AI generators, or maybe it's the result of using certain tools or filters, let me know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Anyways, Worlds Apart was released into early access in November 13th, 2024. Not too long ago, however the game itself has actually been in open beta for a while now, releasing around October 2022. So this game has actually been in development for quite some time. I hope this doesn't mean new players will be at a disadvantage compared to the beta players. The game describes itself as being quick, having around 5-minute games and having the ability to earn new cards as you play, which let's hope is true since this would be the bare minimum for online TCGs. FAQs are once again your typical NFT game nonsense of true ownership and blockchain integration with the ability to buy, sell, and trade their digital collectibles in their already fully functioning NFT marketplace, since that tends to take precedence over everything else. Now they do promise, like all NFT devs do, that the game is fully playable without ever engaging with NFTs, as the collectibles exist separately from the gameplay cards. So then I would have to ask, what is the point of the NFTs exactly? Purely as a monetization aspect? Yeah, that's cool. Just what I wanted in my video game. I will say though, if there is a separation between NFTs and gameplay cards, then this game might actually be playable as a normal game, but we'll have to see. The rest of the FAQs talk solely on the monetization and blockchain, so that's nice. I guess the gameplay itself is not too important. The developers and publisher of this game is Reality Plus, and let's take a look at their portfolio. Reality Plus promises to make games that blend the accessibility of Web 2 with the functionality of Web 3 to create immersive, engaging new experiences. Whatever any of that means, but I suppose that means they've made a bunch of stuff, right? According to their showcase, they've made Well, I'm not too sure actually, since of the 6 things they've listed, only 2 are available, which would be the Doctor Who Worlds Apart TCG and the Stigverse, which is a Top Gear collaboration with the Sandbox. Think a game mode or experience similar to what you'd find in Roblox, and all the others are case study coming soon. Although the majority seem to just be metaverse projects or online, not exactly what I would consider games. So, this isn't the best start to our devs, however, they do have quite the claim of having a team of industry experts with experience on Lord of the Rings Online, Battlefield, God of War, Spider-Man, and even World of Warcraft. That is quite the lineup of big name games, but experience can mean anything, whether it means they worked at a studio for a week or two, an internship, or even as a junior dev. Without proof, you can claim anything, and no offense, but this showcase doesn't exactly scream game industry experts. Looking at their LinkedIn, we see that Reality Plus is located in London, England, and was founded in 2017. They have a company size of at least 52, although 2 years ago they had around 80 plus employees, so they had quite the downsizing at some point, but not as drastic as Blowfish Studios. They also say they help brands and franchises to engage in blockchain experiences, listing Doctor Who, Thunderbirds, Love Island, and as we saw before, Top Gear. My condolences to all the fans of those series. They list here that they have also raised $8.8 million of funding, which is not an insignificant amount. Hopefully they do something with it and this isn't just some giant crypto grift. On their website, they list only their managers, so let's take a quick look at our CEO before we move on to the gameplay. Our CEO is Tony Pierce, who describes himself as a Web3 pioneer, and has apparently worked in the tech and game sector since forever, starting from the early days of gaming, then mobile apps, and finally landing onto Web3 blockchain games. Looking at his experience, he only really lists his work in mobile gaming, which to be honest is actually okay, because online TCGs can work pretty well in the mobile gaming sphere. Compared to some of the other CEOs I've seen on the series, I'm actually happy that this one has experience in the gaming sector. Although it doesn't seem like he works in the development of games and instead mainly works in the publishing of them, so make of that what you will. So this is our development team for today's episode. Supposedly industry experts from some very big name games, but under Reality Plus, Doctor Who Worlds Apart will be their very first real game debut, so let's check it out. Also, full disclosure, I haven't actually played the more popular mobile TCGs like Hearthstone and Marvel Snap. I am familiar with Hearthstone though, but not so much Marvel Snap. So if Worlds Apart lifts any features or mechanics from any of those games, let me know in the comments. First and foremost, we get hit with the reminder that this is indeed part of the BBC's Whoniverse, and of course we need to make an account to begin our adventure. It's a quick process, which is good, and we immediately get put into a tutorial match, also good. No dilly-dallying. We're presented with 2 sets of hexagons separated by holographic planets. The opponent is on the top and myself at the bottom. Now the tutorial really leaves a lot of information out, but I'll do my best to explain. Every turn, certain hexagons get highlighted. This is the present time, and during this time you fight for control of the planet. Now basically it's just whoever has the most power, which is the number on the card by the end of the turn, that wins that planet, which will grant you the power amount associated with the planet. If you have equal power, then the planet is given to no one. Now the goal of the match is to simply have the most power at the end. You don't have to place your cards at the present time, you can place it anywhere you want, whether it's in the future or in the past. There are cards that are just effects, so you may not want to put them during a present clash since they don't have any power themselves. Now certain cards have effects on them, things like if played in the present, do a thing, or on reveal, do a thing. This one in particular, the Imperial Dalek, states on reveal, that is when the card is flipped over, the opposing character gets -2 power. This means the opposite hexagon. The power bar is also considered their health. If it runs out, the card is destroyed. Also, every turn as the TARDIS moves forward, the hexagons highlighted change, but certain previous hexagons can still be part of the next turn's ones, so you can plan to take advantage of this. Now, one mechanic that never got explained, which they just assume you've played other TCGs before, is that you have energy, and every turn you replenish all of it and add +1 to your maximum. I know it sounds silly, but this game looks to be a fairly casual game, so you really need to explain this stuff for newbies. Just a quick one line should be fine. One final thing to note is that planets, when they're in the present time, will have some underlying effect. Some are simple, like every character here gets +1 power, to some annoying ones like steal 1 power from characters revealed in the present. So there's some interesting variety there, and they change per match. Also, the effect disappears when you move on. And that's the general loop of a match. They're very quick, but overall it's actually kind of fun. There is strategy to the game, but it's not super complex, which is perfect for a casual mobile market. You play one more tutorial match which just introduces you to more card effects, and then you move on to the nitty-gritty of progression and quests. Quests are your dailies, and completing them gives you credits, which is the in-game non-premium currency, and you use this to upgrade your cards, which don't increase its power, just gives it cosmetic changes like a border or animations. You also need EXP, which is rarity specific. You can earn them by getting a duplicate of the card or generic EXP as rewards. You also get these stars, which contribute to your collection level, which we'll get to a little bit later. We get told to play another match. Now at this point I will say that the card art is kind of bland. It's either just a character doing a pose or an animal being an animal. The colors are also fairly dull. I find them pretty uninteresting. Maybe I'm not the target audience, I don't know. To be honest with you, the most interesting looking thing is the space backdrop. Next we get introduced to the store, where we're given a welcome capsule where we get to choose 5 cards from a selection plus a planet. With that done, let's take a look at our store properly. The yellow crystals are the premium currency and can be bought with real money, but can still be earned in-game, albeit at a fairly slow rate. But it is possible, so you can buy new card packs as a free-to-play. These devs aren't lying like most NFT devs do, so good job. It is the bare minimum, but still, good job. Now there are still some things you can't get as a free-to-play, such as these bundles or the season pass, but compared to some of the other mobile games I've played, these are fairly cheap. Next we have the collection log. Leveling up cards and getting new ones will get you collection levels, and at certain milestones you get a reward of 1 of 2 selections as well as some premium currency. The amount of levels needed to reach a reward tier increases by 1 each time, and as you can see, there are a lot of collection levels, with some of the rarer and more powerful cards being given to you the further you go along. Next we have our seasonal rankings. Winning ranked matches increases your season rank, which grants you rewards. This is probably the main way to get the premium currency, and these seasons last a couple of months. I did play a couple matches of ranked and I got matched fairly quickly, although I couldn't really tell if these were bots or real players, but regardless, it works and I could progress through the rankings and still get the rewards. I checked the leaderboard for fun and there are only 98 people in the top bracket out of 100 slots, so not a great sign for the player count. And finally, we have our special quests. Alongside dailies, there are stories where you do certain objectives with certain cards to get experience for them, and the XP vault where you do the quests to unlock the vault to get rewarded one of the cards. And that's all of the game. It's a straightforward game, and I found it to be okay, especially as a mobile game. But one question I have to ask is, where does the NFTs come in? There was no linking of a crypto wallet, I couldn't find any method of turning a card into an NFT, so where are they? Did they remove them? Surely not, there's still a marketplace after all. Looking around their Discord, I found out that before a certain update, all the cards used to be NFTs, but with the launch of early access on Epic, this is no longer the case, and they confirmed that all the cards are now attainable in-game, which means that you no longer can make NFTs? Normally, this would be a good thing. However, NFTs are actually still in the game. You just can't seemingly make them anymore. So, what exactly is the point of their marketplace? Who would buy these cards that seemingly have no use in the game itself? Well, looking at their FAQs on their website, which of course mainly talks about monetization and blockchain, they state that after version 0.9, you won't be able to just buy a card from the marketplace and then subsequently unlock the playable version of it in the game. You will simply own the collectible. So, what would be the gameplay point of buying a collectible? Well, you can still increase your collection level, thus giving you access to the rarer and more powerful cards. And remember, there are a lot of levels, and the threshold that you need to reach to get a reward increases significantly the further you go along. So in essence, buying these NFTs can fast track your progress and give you access to the better cards much sooner, creating a pretty big gap from the free-to-play players. There's also one line here that says there will be further functionality for collectibles in future versions, which hopefully doesn't mean more pay-to-win mechanics, but there is always a probability that that will be the case. I will say, at the very least, they reduced the pay-to-win aspect to a degree by not allowing you to turn an NFT collectible into a playable card, so that is a step in the right direction. But they're still in the game, and while it is possible for free-to-plays to get any of the cards now, which is good, just how long would it take for a free-to-play player to progress through the collection levels versus someone spending crypto to just boost their account? I really don't see how NFTs are a positive feature for this game. It just seems like a pay-to-win mechanic. With all that said, at the very least, compared to other implementations of NFTs, it's not the worst. Is it wholly unnecessary? Absolutely, but not the worst. At least you can still earn the cards, unlike in say Whoniverse. Alright, now let's actually take a look at their NFT marketplace. Lowest priced cards go for around 50 cents, and the highest priced card goes for around $950. while these founders tokens go for around $375 to $1,500. These were tokens that were limited and can no longer be bought outside of current owners selling them in the marketplace, and they grant you special perks like free monthly cards and discounts. And that's it for their NFTs. I don't really see the need for them in the game. You could probably remove them right now and the game wouldn't be any different. In fact, people would probably look at the game in a more positive light, but I suppose the damage has already been done. Alright, let's get to my impressions. Well, I can safely say this isn't the worst NFT game I've played, especially comparing it to Captain Laserhawk, made by a supposed quadruple A studio. There actually seems to be some effort put into here, which is a nice change of pace. But anyways, let's begin. The gameplay. It's quick and simple, which is great for gaming on the go. Definitely fits the mobile game nature. Most of the cards have unique abilities, and there are a decent amount of them as well, allowing for a variety of different builds. The planet effects are interesting and can affect which cards you choose to play during certain turns, adding a bit of depth to the game. And the planet effects themselves are not always the same each match, so at the very least, not all matches play the same. NFTs from the outset don't seem to really affect the actual gameplay in any way, which is very good. However, with the promise of the collectibles potentially having further functionality in the future, this may change, so keep that in mind. It is possible to get most things in-game, barring the season pass or any bundles, and I am assuming most if not all the cards can be attained through card packs, which you can purchase with in-game currency. So their claim is truthful, you can play the game without the need to interact with crypto, which is a first in the series. Now, how long it would take for you to get some of the rarer cards and what the income of in-game currency is a different story, and I don't plan on playing for that long to find out. Now the negatives. First off, the tutorials could do with a bit of work. Hopefully you're familiar with TCGs like Hearthstone or Marvel Snap because the tutorial itself really doesn't explain much at all. The card art isn't particularly interesting. They're not bad per se, but they're just a tad boring. Maybe they'll be more appealing to fans of the series. While I did say NFTs didn't affect gameplay directly, they do allow people with crypto to essentially get ahead of the curve by buying maxed out cards to boost their collection levels, allowing them to get to the more powerful cards significantly faster. And with promised future functionality, it may worsen the gap between NFT holders and non-holders, so there is a level of pay to win in that regard. Those are the main points I could think of. The game itself is fairly simple and pretty straightforward, so there isn't really much to talk about, which may or may not be a good thing. Now, for the final verdict, I give this game a Doctor Who asked for NFTs out of 10. If I'm being honest, I find this game to be perfectly playable as a normal game, which is probably the greatest compliment I could give to an NFT game. And since the matches are quick, I can definitely see people playing a quick match or two while on the go. I personally got a tad bit bored of it after a while, but it's a completely functional game and properly playable as a free-to-play game, which is saying a lot. The NFTs as of right now are pretty inoffensive, but this may change in the future. I still personally think that the inclusion of NFTs are worthless and absolutely do not benefit the game at all, just adding a potential avenue for pay-to-win features in the future. I am glad they at least are moving towards the game being more free-to-play friendly. If I had reviewed this game a year earlier, it would have been far more negative. So yeah, I'm actually surprised this is a somewhat okay mobile trading card game that unfortunately still has NFTs. But of course, this is under the assumption that this game is unique and didn't just rip off another card game. I have to make this disclaimer because NFT games are notorious for doing that. Honestly, if this game removed all the NFTs and blockchain integration, this could have been an alright mobile game. But alas, here we are. Since the company is wholly focused on Web3 stuff, the NFTs are unfortunately here to stay, which is a shame. At the very least though, I didn't need to buy an NFT to play this game, so checkmate, Captain Laserhawk. Anyways, that's the end of the video and I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya!